Candy and Kev, Candy and Kev, Candy and Kev. Get ready.
Here we
Get ready.
go, it's the show
Yeah.
you've been waiting
I know you've been
for.
waiting.
Just sit back, you will see you're gonna want some more. We talk about love, life, and fun all in one. Let's take a ride. It just begun. Come on, everybody, you're sure to get your laugh on. It's the Candy and Kev Show.
Well, good morning, everyone. And before we go any further, I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and hit that share button. Welcome to your Friday edition of Car Conversations with Candy and Kev. What's up, Kev?
Yes, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We know yesterday we said that we were going to be joint today with our children. Unfortunately, last night, and a lot of times we might pre-tape certain parts of it just because of people's schedules. And my son is in California. As we were in the process of starting our production, around 4 minutes in, all the electricity in our area went out, so we weren't able to complete that particular show. But we will still air. We still will get it done and have it to you by
Okay,
Monday.
I need to make a
I
announcement.
did. I'm not
This
even gonna lie.
it
She didn't plan this. I saw she had a purple shirt.
you did this?
I did it. I'm a be. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes I'm a fess up. This time I'm a fess up and say I'm like, oh, she got her purple shirt on. I'm put my purple shirt on, and now I feel stupid for doing it as I'm looking at this camera. So y'all stay there. Candy gonna talk y'all. I'll be right back.
Who does this? Is 2020? This right here is more proof that the year 2020 is just over. I don't even know. I can't even hear myself at this point. Oh, maybe because he went out the room. I don't know. So hopefully you guys can still hear me, because guess what? I don't know. Okay, I guess you guys can now. Um, who does Matchy Matchy in 2020?
Cause I was tossed between two opinions, and I was like, you know what? Should I wear my purple shirt? Should I wear this shirt? And I aren't this shirt first. Then when I saw Candy pull out her purple shirt, I was like, oh, maybe I should go with purple. And then as we were sitting here and I was looking, I was like, who that look stupid, Kev? I don't know why you did that. I was like, I don't know why you did that, bro. So yeah, that was a
Yeah.
Kevism stupid moment.
Oh, okay.
Did that just throw off your whole game?
Okay. So go ahead. Which say what you were saying.
Girl, I got to catch my breath. I just ran up them steps.
So
So
she wait. Titania. So that was cute. The purple was nice. That's just purple is actually my favorite color.
I
However,
don't have much purple stuff.
that was just too much purple. I looked
Yeah,
up and then, like, I have this powerful theme up, and his shirt had cartoons.
it was X-Men. So anyway, so that's why you don't see our children here with us today. Um, Literally, we were in the middle of getting things together. We were in the middle of the production, and everything went out, so we weren't able to complete it. So we're gonna go back and do it again. It's definitely going to be an interesting conversation. If you ever seen my family's dynamic, it definitely is unique. It definitely is, I would say, blackish, with a cross of what's the other show that they have?
Brownish,
No, the other one.
mixedish.
No, the one black is black AF. What is it? Black A.
Oh, his when he does the behind the scenes. of his like real life.
Yeah, the Netflix one on pretty much our family. But we had to shift and adjust. And so today we weren't prepared to have to do this one today. So Candy, what we got going on here?
So hold on, I see a lot of people were responding about my hair
It looks nice.
and keep talking for a second.
So it's a lot of stuff going on. So you guys, I wonder if you guys had an opportunity to watch the memorial service for um, George George Floyd yesterday. Definitely moving. Definitely, it was a black funeral. It was definitely you can tell they have church roots. It's the one song that they sang that always gets to me, and this becomes the funeral song now. It was the one I shall wear a crown. I was like, oh yeah, they definitely got church roots, because that's every every church, Pentecostal, Methodist, not Methodist. You gonna hear that song at a funeral. So it definitely was sad. And my wife challenged me to do something today, and I might just do it. If we get enough hearts and likes, I might do it. But we were curious how a banana and mayonnaise sandwich tastes. So
Yeah, so his brother, George Floyd's brother, in his remark, he got up to say that, just talking about putting a human face on that person that the world saw being treated inhumanely. Um, and so they shared anecdotal stories about what their family dynamic was like. And so apparently one of the things he and his brother loved to do was to eat mayonnaise and banana sandwich.
so I wonder, did they eat that because back then that's all they could afford, or was that something they'd actually
I don't
like?
know, but on today's show, Kevin is going to try that.
Okay, I lost my hat already. Is it enough torture that week?
In honor of George. But listen, today's show, and that's Kevin's nervous cough.
Well, no,
You
no,
good
that
now?
I really choked.
Oh, okay. So, one of the things I have to take this out. I try to do that, y'all.
Yeah, you don't need it.
I try, but I can't do that because it kind of puts an echo in my ear and it kind of throws me off. But one of the things that is that there's a subset in the movement pushing forward the fact that, and it's not to take from Ahmad or not to take from George and all of the countless, men who have lost their lives, but the truth of the matter is, Breonna Taylor, all this all happening around the same time. And we have to continue to say her name as well. We can't let that go unchecked. There needs to be justice um, for Breonna Taylor and the Taylor family. If you're not familiar with the story behind Breonna Taylor, she was gunned down in her home. The police, they did not knock, they didn't make any type of, they didn't give any warning, and they bust down the front door. She and her boyfriend were inside. Now, her boyfriend is a licensed carrier. He has a license to carry a gun. They thought that someone was breaking in their home to burglarize it or to do harm. And essentially, that's actually what was happening. But it was unfortunately the case that when they broke in, uh, when the police knocked the door down, uh, her boyfriend grabbed his gun, which he was licensed to carry, and they were in Brianna's home,
Mhm.
and they thought that their lives were in jeopardy.
And they were in plain clothes, police.
And they were plain clothes because they were supposedly serving a warrant. And when her boyfriend pulled the gun, Brianna was shot and killed.
and unprecedented eight, I believe, 8 times, um, which is excessive. And unfortunately, this young lady's life at the age she turns 20, she would have turned 26 today. So she is the same age as my daughter, which she was living her life. She was
She was an
EMT.
EMT.
She was an aspiring to be a nurse. So many things about this young lady's life. She was on point to become something great, and her life was taken by the hands of police officers again. Careless police training, careless. It was just careless.
And so, ladies, we see, and I think I saw a subset of men. The men started doing this as well. But ladies, I know that there is this viral post that's going around like, we are ladies, we don't tear down one another, we build one
Mm,
another up. Let's really embody what they that says, and continue to say her name. Although she's no longer living amongst us, but let's not let um, justice go unserved on her behalf. This is a part of us building one another. So, ladies, when there is a sale going on, when one of my girlfriends gets picks up a product and it's an awesome product, and when I pick up a product and it's an awesome product, I will get on social media and I will text my girlfriends, let them all know, hey, you got to try this this product. It's a good price, it's a good product. So we need to also make it known and keep it at the forefront that we need to continue to say her name, and not only her but the names of all of the other women. The list is too long.
mm,
And again, that's not to take away from the men who have lost their lives, but brothers,
it's a
listen.
joint effort.
You often the time I hear the true men in our community talking about how they will protect their women, and I'm pretty sure, and I without beyond a shadow of doubt, I know that Brianna's boyfriend, when he reached for his licensed gun, he was thinking about protecting
Mm,
not only himself but primarily possibly protecting Brianna, right?
mm-hmm.
So this is a time where you can help this cause by you even bringing it to the forefront in your men's circles and your groups. Say her name. Say her name. We know say his name, but let's not forget about the women as well. Say her name. She was in her home. They didn't have the excuse of she looked suspicious in the street.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have the excuse of pulling her over for a traffic violation and they thought she was going to reach for something. She was in her home, and the excuse, I was listening to her lawyer talk today, and the excuse that the officers were using was that that was the address that they were given to perform a to deliver a warrant, or there was an arrest warrant to fulfill a warrant, and it came out that no, that was not the address that was given to them. So this needs to be a concerted effort. But my ladies, my sisters, I know that there's that viral post going around on Instagram and on Facebook. We are black women. We don't tear one another down. We lift one another up. Well, let's do it for Brianna. And just like we tell our girlfriends about a good restaurant we went to, or clothes, we found a new boutique,
Hair
or
products.
hair products or makeup or whatever. Let's continue to say her name, and if we have platforms and if we have access to even to people with larger platforms,
Mm-hmm.
let's not forget to push that agenda as well, today and going forward. Um, again, this is not to detract or take away from um, George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery or the hundreds of thousands of other men and boys, but there are women and young girls and young women who are also being hunted, attacked, assaulted, harassed, killed, all because of the skin, the color of their skin.
And this was something that when we were doing the I Run for Ahmad, that I did, I brung it up. I said we sometimes, and I said again, it's not to take away from the men that's being murdered at all, but it is to say, wait a minute, we can't forget our sisters that are being brutalized, and the injustice is being done to. A lot of times we just speak of the men because there's so many of them, but we can't forget the fraction of women. And it reminded me of when I looked at some of the when as I go through to create videos or whatever, I have to actually go through and search for different videos. It was certain videos that we totally forgot about where police officers were just brutally beating on young African American teenage girls at parties, and or whether it was at a party or whether it was at just a function. I mean, literally had them down on the ground, punching them in their face. Young 16-year-old girls. So we have to, like Candy said, we can't forget about our sisters. Men, we have to make sure that we're in position to protect them as well, and use wisdom when it comes to. And I believe that her boyfriend, by all means, probably pulled out that gun to protect. But unfortunately, her life was taken. So I can, my prayers are out to him, because sometimes even in you doing everything you can to protect, and a life is lost. Sometimes you'll have a situation where you'll think this is all my fault. Where King, you definitely try to do what you can do. Unfortunately, um, these police officers use excessive force.
And in an
So
interview today, her lawyer said, she's just a little worried that um, as the days and the weeks and the months go on, people are going to forget
mm,
about Brianna, because there's so many other things going on, and so ladies, just like we get on that phone for when we get when we get shoes or lipstick or cosmetics or jewelry, or our man does whatever for us, and or we want to celebrate the sisterhood. This is one of our sisters, and this is she could have been my daughter. She's my daughter's age. She could have been my daughter.
mm.
So for some, this is our niece. For some, this is our daughter. For some, this is our sister. For some, this is our cousin, right? And
For some, this is somebody's mother.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
She could have
this
been a
could have
mother.
been someone's mother. So we have to continue to say her name. And again, it's not taking from say his name, but it all is encapsulated in Black Lives Matter. It's not just Black male lives matter. It's all, Black Lives Matter, because that there's something savage. There is something utterly savage about a man who would box a woman, punching her in her face, punching her in her belly. She is the mother of nations.
It was
Punching her in her belly. I'm talking about just thinking about this. Punching her in her face. Punching her in her belly. Shooting her in her face. Shooting her in her belly. Taking instruments of asphyxiation and wrapping it around her neck, choking the life out of her, and then calling it suicide.
mm, Sandra Bland.
So it is something savage. These are the types of people that we're dealing with. That's how much hatred. There is no honor code of, they even say, that, well, what the thing is, what's the thing, if the ship is going down or if the plane's going down or whatever, or if there's an emergency, women and children first.
Yeah.
They don't even care about that with their hatred. We see that with Tamir Rice, a child. We see that with the Sandra Blands and the Breonna Taylors and all of they were naming women
And
on this interview that I was reading about. And, Breonna Taylor's lawyer mentioned this. She said, and a lot of these women, this may be the first time some of you are, hearing their names because they weren't made a national thing. So,
and
say her name.
in America, this is a learned behavior. America, you've been doing this to our women and our black men since you brought us over here. You've been raping them. You've been taking their children. You've been beating them. And you've literally ripped the male protection away from them and took advantage of them. So I know my wife is challenging the women to make sure they say her name, but men, we have to do the same thing. Reason being is because when it's time for our names to be said, the women are on the front line doing it for us. So we have to reciprocate. We have to give back. So we have to do the same thing. So we can't forget the Briannas. We can't forget the Sandra Bland's, so many countless names of women that have been dealt with wrongly with the police department. We can't forget their names. It's definitely it's been a heavy week. It's been a heavy week dealing with so many different things. One of the things that they did say was because of the George Floyd situation is bringing light back to Brianna's situation. So even if and we know we did not want to
Her
see
murder,
this
let's just say it right.
yeah,
Not
her murder.
situation, because
Yeah, her
sometimes we
murder.
have situations, but let's just call it what it is.
Yeah,
Her
her
murder.
murder is bringing light back to that. So while we have the attention on it, we cannot forget it. We cannot let the arms of justice um, slow down on making sure her police officer prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We have to stay. Our job is not done, even though the three other officers were arrested and are charged right now. Our job as a community is not done. It is not done. So we got a lot of work to do.
As you said that yesterday, I was listening as I was working. I was listening to, because the hearings for the Ahmaud Arbery case, they were going on yesterday, and I was listening to um, the defense lawyers grilling, or I guess cross-examining, the the lead detectives and authorities on the case, and the things that they were bringing up. At one point, the lawyer on behalf of the lead detective was saying, like, what the questions that they were asking, it was like, what about Ahmaud? It's like, so what does that have to do with this case? Has nothing to do with this case. They try to bring his mental health status um, into it. They try to bring all of these other extraneous things in, but at the end of the day, you hunted him down.
Hmm.
You and the detective, the lead detective investigator, was saying that he was establishing that there has been a history of these men um, expressing hatred for people of color, and their favorite word, using their favorite words for people of color. So there was an established history of hatred. Um, and, you know, for much of Black America right now, everybody is suffering with some measure of mental and emotional discomfort, because this is a lot to process. This is so much to process, so much to process. So, but I bring up me watching that hearing because I was like, yo, this is how they work to deconstruct cases that we view as solid. Of like, there's the video, you have their social media, you have their message boards, you have, evidence, physical evidence. Why is this so hard? Why can't you all see it? But then as I was listening to the questions that the defense was bringing up, I was like, this is how they do that.
Even when I'm listening to the some of the evidence when it comes to the three officers that are facing charges when it comes to George Floyd, it's already kind of setting the tone that they won't really be convicted. They won't really be convicted. The prosecutor said it's going to be very, very difficult to convict the other three.
So, Sherrod, to your point, oh, I know that women are no less valuable or no less vulnerable, and yes, there was video for George and Ahmaud. But the reason I'm bringing this to our show today is because I listened to her lawyer, Breonna Taylor's lawyer, in an interview, and she is concerned that, as her lawyer pushing for justice for Breonna Taylor, she is aware that support for this is waning and her name is not being said enough.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to use our platform I'm going to do what I can do to keep her name going forward. And since and yeah, so there was a video for it, but I I thought this was a good time to bring this because we have these viral what is it, posts going around about, I am a black woman, I'm a black man, I don't, I'm a black, we are black ladies, we build, we don't tear down, and all of these things. So let's maybe, in addition to that, hashtag say her name. Mine, I included, this one is for you, Breonna Taylor. Hashtag say her name. Go ahead, Kevin. That's all you pulling up.
No,
Okay.
Because to his point, it was a particular. It was one of the young ladies that there was video footage of them shooting her in her car, and she did have what is it called? I don't want to use the wrong terminology. She had mental health issues, which is even a reason more why she shouldn't have been shot in her car. Because it was noted that she had those particular issues. So it was footage of one of the young ladies that were listed in the Say Her Name campaign. I was trying to find it, but so it definitely, it doesn't stop the fact that we still have to bring, because let me say this,
because at the end of the day, and I just saw something on your screen, black women and black little girls should not be the afterthought.
Yeah.
In the outrage over police violence. That should not be an afterthought. And so we within our community, we have to keep that moving forward. Yes, say his name and say her name.
Say our names.
Because I have to say this once again. There is something savage about what type of place do you have to go to as a man to box out a woman?
No, a young girl. A 16-year-old girl.
A young girl, a 16-year-old girl, or like she is your peer, like she is a grown man. How can you, and if you don't know what we're referring to, I'm not sure if it was last summer or the summer before last. There was the case where the cops showed up to a barbecue and the police officers were assaulting young girls, like boxing them out like they were men. What type of place do you have to go to in your mind? How much hatred do you have that you can box out a young woman, a young woman like she's a man? How you can with your pull out a gun and shoot a woman in her head, in her womb, in her take instruments of asphyxiation, wrap it around her neck methodically, and choke the life out of her. And then, when it's brought to life, say it was suicide. This is the type of hatred and savagery we are dealing with. So we have to continue to say her name. As a creative, I'm a part of a project that's coming up that deals with I'm a part of several projects coming up that deals with the intention of black women and others, but primarily black women, saying encouraging our men that we see you, we are in the fight with you, and we are praying for you, and we love you, and we all these things. But as I was watching her, Breonna Taylor's Breonna Taylor's lawyer speak today, I said I gotta reach out to these creative writers and say, wait, are we including the women, the girls, the daughters, the mothers, the nieces, the little sisters? We have to include them, because we as black women, we're building, we're making this affirmation to build and not to tear down, and to encourage and uplift and not to be slanderous. And so that brought to my mind, even as creatives, we can't, we as we're creating these projects, to honor these men and these boys, we need to have projects that are solely built on bringing to light these women, these daughters, these mothers, these sisters, these nieces that are being asphyxiated, that are being gunned down, that are being tased, that are being punched and beat up, that are all of these things, because their lives matter.
Speaking of creatives, including women and this, let's take a look at this. We'll be right back.
Hold on one second as Kevin is getting that together, getting the video together. So yes, I'm putting. So I guess I'm putting two charges out there, calls to action out there. Women, just like we will share about a sale, share about a project, share about a product that we picked up at, or either online, or supporting small black businesses and all these things, or just black businesses in general. Just how we get on the horn and get on our trail. We get on our call chain and all of that about, girl, they're having a sale, or ShopRite is putting on this sale, or whatever, the grocery store has this sale, or this mall has this sale, get on over there. Or sometimes we say, I was out and it was such a good sale, I picked up this for you. Well, pass this on. Hashtag say her name. Pass this on. And my creatives, the call to action I'm asking of you. I know that many of you have put together pieces that speak to the senseless murder of our young black men and boys. But let's create some pieces that are intentional, that speak to this say her name. Kevin, you have something?
Yes.
It was Freddie, Sam, Corey, Eric, Philando, Ahmad, Steven, Kenneth, Amadou, Jonathan, Christian, Terrace, Sean. Killed him a day before his wedding. Jamar killed him while he was in handcuffs. Mike killed him while he had his hands up. Kamani, Ramali, Philip, Alton. About 3 Kevins, about 2 Jordans. John, Laquan, Bathon, Stephon, Tony, Tamir, Elijah, Antoine, Izelle, Terrell, Dontre, Akai, George. For him, set the country on fire. Timothy, Patrick, Paul, Tyree, Quintonio, Darius, Jeremy, William, Anthony, Dante, Oscar, Kendrick, Keith, David, Walter. Women like Sandra, Betty, Rihanna, India, Michelle, Tatiana, Tanisha, Rika, Natasha, Pamela, Janet, Megan, Baby Ayan. All that we lost, your name live on. Wasn't killed by a cop, but I can't forget Trayvon. Can't forget Emmett, and all of those we lost to the beast. No justice, no peace. No peace, no peace.
So again, that's a piece that was created by a guy in New York City, and he did not miss to include the sisters that was also murdered senselessly in the hands of police officers. And all of those names were all under the hand of police officers, except for the exception of 2. One of them was right in the state of New Jersey, right in Vineland, and so you hear a lot of these different things, and the reason why I love this piece is because it dealt with someone right in our own home area, right in our own New Jersey area. It dealt with this is not something that just happens in certain places. This happens across the country, in your own backyard, to your own. You got something to say? Go ahead, Derek. Because
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, because I see you like go say what you got to say.
No, go ahead.
No, because you breathing hard. Go ahead.
Finish.
That's it. That's it. Go ahead.
Finish. Go ahead.
And so that's one of the pieces that I can say that they did include the women. Now, can we not? Well, I'm gonna let you have your say. I know it was after, like it was towards.
Oh no! I wasn't even thinking. My mind was still on this. You know what? Actually, where my mind went to?
What's that?
My mind went to. I personally know some dope, creative women of color that y'all ain't even got to ask me twice. Y'all know I'm in. Y'all know I'm.
But this is
all
the
the way.
No,
in.
let me.
So wait, hold on.
Let me say this. Candy, not only are you a dope whatever, but you're a creator within yourself. I challenge you to use your passion to put something together.
Yep, I'm gonna do it right with those, and we're gonna run that again because apparently the sound, our volume was a little low. So hopefully that was a little better. But we're gonna run that video again because one of the viewers were saying it was a little low. But my listen, we about to.
You don't want me to play it again?
Well, no, not right this second. But listen, I know so many dope black queens that have platforms. So yesterday I never got a chance to talk about this story, but because I looked over and saw Kevin was wearing a Dallas hat. Check out yesterday's show because that hat didn't survive the storm. But
I will say this, because of me making my stains, I got a call from my good pastor friend, Pastor Jeffrey Lewis. He said he's making a statement against the Dallas Cowboys as well, and he said he's looking for a new football team. So we are.
That's what
now,
I'm talking about.
This is what we both agreed on. We said we are both looking for a new football team.
It won't be Eagles, I know.
Just will not be the Philadelphia
Just don't
Eagles.
be them.
We just won't, So I am in search of a new football team.
This is what I'm thinking. So yesterday, I never got a chance to fully develop this piece of the story. Because I looked over and saw Kevin had that Dallas hat on, so I got sidetracked. Y'all know.
You wanted to just rip that up anyway.
For several reasons.
So that was
I ain't gonna lie.
You felt good after that. Let me tell you, you had a beautiful day yesterday. I'm listening. I'm like, is she that happy for tearing up my Dallas hat? Like she was just.
I don't want to be distracted again. So listen. So the thing that I started to say yesterday. Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Take that back. Because I realized I was getting distracted. So I brought up the K-pop stands, the K-pop fans yesterday. I started to bring them out because when there was the Blackout Tuesday, I don't know if you know, but there was the Whiteout Wednesday the following day. The K-pop, that's the Korean pop music. That's Korean pop music. They have like 90 million followers strong. Young millennials and Gen X or Gen Z, I don't even know what letter we up to, y'all. What y'all gonna do when we run out of letters? But anyway, all them gens, they have 90 million young people that ain't got nothing to do because they quarantined or they have limited, time that they can be outside. So shout out to the K-pop fans because on Whiteout Wednesday, you know what they did? And imagine, it's a global thing. So they flooded social media using White Lives Matter. You know why? Because every time somebody went to that hashtag White Lives Matter, all they saw was Korean faces doing Korean music videos and dance videos because that was their way of getting behind this blatant racist behavior and this allowance of blatant racist behavior. And I was like, 90 million strong. I learned two things. I'm never gonna get on their bad side unless they come from my people. I ain't never gonna get on their bad side because they got 90 million fans strong of young people
that
and y'all that stay on social media. So that brings me to this point. My young community, my young sisters and nieces, little cousins, y'all need to take that same type of passion with this Say Her Name. We're passing around this we are Black ladies, we don't tear down, we build, we encourage, we uplift. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Today, I actually posted mine and I added to it, this one is for you, Breonna Taylor, and then the hashtag Say Her Name. Because although she is no longer with us, she still needs justice. And there doesn't need to be any more Breonna Taylors, right? There doesn't need to be any more Sandra Bland's. There doesn't need to be any more of the countless names. We have thousands of Black girls that will go missing and nobody cares. That has to one young girl from another ethnicity goes missing, and that's all we see on the daytime news, on the nightly news.
They still looking for
we
that
have
little girl.
Thousands of Black young girls who will go missing and nobody seems to care. So let's take a page out of that K-pop book and let's flood the social media with Say Her Name. That's not going to detract from Black Lives Matter. Put those both up there together. That's not going to detract from Say His Name, but we have to. I heard Breonna's legal defense saying today, I'm afraid that we're losing steam
And let me,
on her, on people, on her behalf.
and let me say this: it takes voices. It takes a number of people. A lot of things are happening as quickly as they are with all of this, everything that's going on right now, because it's so many people speaking out against it. So it's very important we move people to make actions with numbers. Your numbers matter. So if we can get everyone to completely flood, I don't even know what area she was in. Do you know what area she was in?
I do not know the area that she was
Because
in.
not only should we do the hashtag, but flood those prosecutors. Not,
So it's so funny because like I said, I know we have young adult children, and my daughter was doing something, and and she was like, dang, they rejected my email. I was like, what
Yeah.
email, what are you talking about? And so apparently there was an emailing campaign going on with the young millennials and the generations underneath them. And so I didn't even know I didn't even know that was the email campaign amongst the young people. So I guess this is my third call to action. Didn't realize I was doing all these call to actions, Nana, but I'm down here doing it, girl. um Young ladies, you all I one thing I know, when us black beautiful queens get up there and on social media, and the world sees our, we know with the guys, the first thing they're going to see, and ladies, depending on your sexual preference, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to see a beautiful black melanated woman. Now you have their attention. Once you get their attention, remind them, say her name. Y'all know how to be creative. Get their attention, and then tell them, I got your attention. Great. Now, say her name.
So my wife is
Say
going to use
her name.
that one her advertisement, her lipstick going like this, and then she gonna be like, now say her name, and then I'm gonna come up in the picture and be like, yeah, say it. So listen, she is from Louisville, Kentucky. So Louisville, Kentucky, you wanna and I'm gonna find the county that she's in. And I'm sorry, y'all, we're finding this information out while we're online.
So yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jody. Jody put it in Louisville.
Yeah,
she's
so
in. So
we'll find out that information and tag that information in here. But you want to go ahead and flood them, because by you flooding them, it makes that department take action. Right now, there's no action has been taken.
And I do want to correct that. I said earlier that Breonna was an EMT. No, she was an emergency room tech. I'm sorry, she was not an EMT. She was an emergency room tech and an inspiring nurse. So I know a lot of black nurses. I know one black nurse that's watching right now. Listen, use your platforms, whatever your platform may be. Young, so that other call to action are millennial young ladies, and all the generations beneath of them. Listen, with that same passion, keep this at the forefront of America's mind every time they go on social media, every time they come on your page, every time a dude comes creeping on your page, because we know that every time a dude comes creeping in your DM, hey, if he's cute and you want to, hey, that's fine. But remember to tell him to say her name. Say her name. Say her name.
I don't know if that'll work for a creep, because he'll be like, baby girl, I'm gonna say, like, I don't know.
No, and then that'll be a perfect opportunity to educate.
Yeah.
And to but we have to do what we have to do, because it is clear to us, if we and it's working. It is working. In the city of Philadelphia, a task force has been created as a result of everything that has been going on over the past week or so. So we can't just sit down and hope that they get it right for us.
Hold on
right?
1 second, everybody.
We can't sit by and wait for them to do it for us. we have to begin to do it and continue. I don't want to say begin because I know that some have been in this fight, and unfortunately, they have been in this fight for years and for decades and feeling quite alone and unheard. But now you have a whole village of people that are behind you, and we're going to continue to say her name.
So listen, everybody, thank you for joining us today. This is the Friday Car Conversation. We find this weekend, a lot of stores are still closed, a lot of things are not happening, but you can find a peaceful protest or some way to find yourself in a demonstration or a prayer circle or something to pray for this nation, to let your voice be heard. I know we're going to somewhere. I'm not even going to disclose all of that information, but make sure that you're at a place where you're making some type of difference, because we do need a change to come. And we're going to leave you with this song by this young lady. She doesn't even know I got the video.
She is a creative. Can I do this one?
Sure, go ahead.
No, that's all right because I talk enough. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, there. Go ahead, because that means I can get it queued up in case it's not working or something. No, if I tap you and say, keep talking.
So, as we continue to say her name, we have a dope creative with a beautiful voice that she doesn't even know, and she just posts these things, and she doesn't even know that Kevin snagged this video of her. But as we close out the show, continue to say her name. That's a call to action. Our young millennial, young girls, this is your sister. This was your sister. These are your sisters, your aunties, your could be, your mothers. And so use your platform, whatever it may be, to say her name. Creatives, call to action. Create content that is intentional and laser beam focused on saying her name. Let's all continue to say her name. And as we keep those viral posts going around of we are black women, we lift, we build. We are black men, we lift, we build. Let's continue to lift and to build as not only we push Black Lives Matter, not only we push say his name, but let's say her name. Up next, we have this beautiful black queen, none other than the Cat Page. Don't forget, say her name. We will see you next week, and we love you, and there ain't a thing that you can do about it, boo. Say her name. Up next, Cat Page. Wait a second. I'm y'all. This thing's gonna work. This is gonna work. We have not had so many problems with technology as we
I
have
was
had
born by the river, oh, in a little town. I was born by the river, oh, Just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. Yeah. 'Cause I don't know what's up there, way beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will.
Candy and Kev.